preparing to live stream. And while that's happening, we will also broadcast. And now we're going to open up the doors for patrons. Okay, it's 7 o'clock, so we're going to get started tonight. We have a number of people that have already entered that have registered and are on tonight's Zoom call. We also have a few that I see are viewing from our live stream on YouTube. So please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Patty Smolin. I'm a business reference librarian at the Schaumburg Township District Library, and I am so very pleased to bring you tonight's program. We are going to be listening to LLM Financial Services, Lisa Christie and Mary Small, and they're going to be talking to us about how to protect yourselves financially in a disaster. Some very important topics on budgeting, creating emergency funds, managing debt, and just some overall smart steps and building a financial plan. So before we get started, just a few rules of housekeeping. Your video and your audio are, they're not enabled. As registered attendees, you can certainly use the chat function and the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. The presenters will be addressing questions nearing the end of the presentation, but you can certainly ask your questions and document them as they come in. And we are also going to be broadcasting a live stream on YouTube. So I see we have one chat that has already come in, and I'm just going to make a notation of that for later. So the library building is currently closed. However, we did just open up this Monday, and we are in the process of receiving about 75,000 items that have been checked out since we had to unfortunately close in March. Please know that we are working very quickly and safely to make sure that we receive all those items and get them ready for our next patron round of requests. And we will be starting our curbside services very, very soon. So if you have any questions for me as a reference librarian or for any of my colleagues, I'm going to put my name in the chat box and my email address. You are so welcome to get in touch with me if I can help you identify sources or services that the library can provide in the meantime. We are still in operation to the extent that we can be, even though the physical structure of the building is closed. So with that said, I really am so pleased that LLM Financial Services are here with us tonight. They have given some quality presentations to us over these past few years. They are longstanding members of the Chamber of Commerce and overall very, very solid contributors to the community. So Lisa Christie, Mary Small, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Patty. So I'm going to share my screen now and get this set up here. There we go. Okay, thank you, Patty, and good evening, everyone. We first want to start out and say we hope that you and your families are staying healthy and safe in these uncertain times. As Patty's mentioned, my name is Lisa Christie and my business partner is Mary Small. We have our own practice and it's LLM Financial Services. We are located at 2200 West Higgins Road, Suite 203 in Hoffman Estates. We are in the Hoffman Estates Community Bank building up on the second floor. And Mary and I, you're going to hear from both of us tonight. And we've known each other for a long time, and we've been in this industry, seen many, many years of how things have ebbed and flowed. And our purpose for what we do is really to help guide people to make educated financial decisions. So we're here tonight, this evening, to discuss how we can protect yourself, how you can protect yourself financially in a disaster.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Lisa. As Lisa mentioned, we are LLM Financial Services. What we tell our clients on our weekly emails that we send out is we're staying informed, up to date, and available to serve our clients. And we tell them, you know, we're here for you if you have concerns, you just want to talk. Serving and educating our clients is our mission. And as Lisa mentioned, we are located on the second floor of the Hoffman Estates Community Bank, right on Higgins Road. And our mission is listening to the financial needs of our clients and guide them to solutions for asset protection and a successful retirement. The things that we do, retirement planning, investments, mutual funds, annuities, IRAs, 401ks, cash balance plans, 529 plans. And on the health and the protection side, it's life, health, disability, and long-term care insurance.
So we're going to start out, as you may have realized, there's so many things that have changed since the beginning of March. And I think that you can all agree that we live in a world that is very unpredictable, very uncertain, and very vulnerable. So there's a lot of things in that we can't control. So what we want to talk to you this evening is what you can control. And one of those things is setting up a plan for you today so that you can provide your family with protection and give you peace of mind.
So what are the steps that you can take? Today, we're going to discuss how to build your own financial plan. This plan will be in place to protect you from events that you have no control of. We're going to talk about budgets, tax planning, creating an emergency fund, manage debt, protect yourself with insurance, investing beyond a 401k, and estate planning. So in the beginning, we start with budgets. And what that means is, you want to start by looking at where you spend your money. If you're old school, kind of like me, pull your check register and go online and review the previous 12 months. If you have online banking, it's just really, simple now, pretty quick to do. The next thing is complete a cash flow statement. This is going to show you on average what you spend and where are you spending it. Review your spending to determine which items are monthly and which items are not monthly, which ones are the surprises. And once you know what you spend, you can calculate how much you're going to need to have in an emergency fund.
So that brings us to our first, kind of step. And doing that budget is really key. And it's a good exercise, no matter what situation you're in. It's being able to look back the 12 months and really just see where is the money going? What's coming in, what's going out. So the first foundation of any financial plan is to have an emergency fund. So what is an emergency fund? So obviously, given in today's time, what if you were affected either by being laid off or if we didn't have a stimulus check or your company wasn't funded by the PPP loan. These are things, just everyday life happens. So there's going to be some kind of emergency at some point. Your car may need major overhauling of things that you need to have done when, of course, you can't predict that when that's going to happen sometimes. Major appliance, some of these things, just like I said, life is going to happen. So that's kind of the preface of having an emergency fund and having that cushion so that you're not having to go into debt to live. So what we want to do is help you understand how to create an emergency fund, what it is. So we know what it is. Let's look at it. I would recommend that you would put it into some kind of a savings account that is separate from your checking or other accounts that you're in all the time. Even a money market may give you a little bit more interest, but we want to call this, and Mary and I, through all the times that we work with clients, we try to, because financial planning can be very complex. So we really want to keep things very basic and understandable. Otherwise, sometimes if they're too complex, you won't do anything. So we talk in simple terms. So tonight you're going to hear us say buckets a lot. So this is your emergency bucket, and we want to call it untouchable. So once you figure out what that monthly expense is that you need monthly, what we want you to do is put that money in a savings or a money market and have at least 3 to 6 months of that savings. Okay. So that may not alarm you, or it may alarm you. So it may be a big number to you or may not be. So if it is, we also want to do things in bite sizes. Again, just because you know what to do doesn't mean that you're going to overnight be able to do this. So what we suggest is taking rule of thumb is, taking 10% of what your check is. So if you get a paycheck every payroll, maybe a good way, taking 10% of your net income. And if that number is still too high, then cut it. It's better than nothing. So, but a rule of thumb is about 10% and put that into that account. So that would be step one.
Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is managing debt. First of all debt is not bad. Home loan interest is still a tax deduction. Considering, maybe refinance your home, your mortgage for a lower interest rate, which is going to lower your monthly payment. It's a good time to do this. Rates are obviously, have come down a bit. So it might be a good idea just to, take a look-see. Once you complete your cash statement and you know what you're spending, review your credit cards. You may be able to apply for a new credit card with a 0% interest and transfer your balance. And then thirdly, student loan interest is also a tax deduction. So if you have loans yourself, or if perhaps maybe your children have taken out loans, review each portion of the student loan, as some may have higher interest than others.
Okay, so look at some of the debt. Now we also, what we want to try to do is help you figure out some ways. When we do talk to clients, we're always trying to help you. If we can save you taxes in any way, we want to help you. So there's some guidelines here, but before I go any further, I just want to make sure that I have the disclaimer out there. We are not tax accountants. We work with your tax accountant or your tax preparer, whoever that may be, and in conjunction with helping you with the same goal. So we do that as well as attorneys. So with that being said, like Mary said, the first thing is, again, looking at the mortgage on your home is not such a bad debt. So that's still a deduction that you can have as far as that interest. The other thing is start contributing to your 401k. So now if you have a company that allows you to participate in a 401k, any contribution that you make, all that money is going to be not included in your taxable income. So you're going to save taxes. And then the other thing with that same breath, is be able to look at what your company, a lot of companies will either do a match, either percentage wise or a dollar on a dollar, or a certain amount on a dollar. So find out what that is if you have one, and if you can at least do that, because you're not going to get that quick as return anywhere. So that is a kind of a number one in the retirement side. However, if you are not with a company that you have a 401k eligibility to participate in, then you can consider an IRA. So an IRA is an individual retirement account, and there's traditional IRAs as well as Roth IRAs. Again, accounting and the tax preparer is going to help figure out, because there are certain income levels that Roths do not. But a traditional IRA is going to work similar in the sense that you're going to get a tax deduction for what the amount of dollars that you can put into that IRA every year. And that'll come off that'll give you a credit off your taxable income. The Roth IRA is an after-tax dollar. They both grow tax deferred, meaning that you're not going to pay any interest on any of the gains that it has until the end. But the Roth IRA, it is a tax-freeable. When you start withdrawing the income, then it's tax-free. But it is still an IRA, and it still has the 59.5 rules. One of the things too, this year in 2020, the CARES Act, so for IRAs, your contribution, what we call required minimum distributions, was at age 70.5. So they are, if you don't take them, then you're penalized 50%, up to 50%. So that just went from 70.5 to 72. So that's just another thing. There's other rules and things that are constantly changing. So, but that's a way for, again, to lower that taxable income for yourself. Another thing is, if you do have children that are, you're looking to save for college, a 529 plan is a good way to put some money and get some tax credit. And 529s are pretty good. They're good for many different things. They don't have to be just for university for tuition. It could be used for several different things, but it is a good way to save, and then you do get a tax advantage. And then the last thing is on there, it's called an HSA account. So in order, and what that means is it's a health savings account. So health savings accounts they've been around for a long time, but a lot of people are still not aware of how they work, really in how they work. But you do have to have a qualified HSA health insurance plan in order to get one. But it's just a regular account that you can save money. And again, these are different buckets. I'm going back to that bucket. So you have your retirement bucket, you have your emergency fund bucket, you have your college bucket, and this is your medical bucket. This can be used for many different things. So it's a good way, but it also works as far as a tax deduction off of your taxable income, just like that IRA and the 401k does. So those are really good tax kind of ways of trying to save.
So the next item we're going to talk about is protecting yourself with insurance. And so when we work with our clients, oftentimes when we have a financial plan, we talk to them about, so, what happens if you get too sick, die too soon, or live too long? And how's your plan going to look if one of those situations occurs? So we're going to kind of walk through some of the protection pieces with regards to that. So life insurance protects your loved ones. Obviously, for some people, as COVID virus has shown, our time here is not defined. Life insurance will leave your beneficiary, a tax-free amount of money that you determine today. And so you have input. What is it that, that you would like to leave behind for your beneficiaries and your loved ones? Disability insurance protects your income. If you're too sick, or too hurt to perform your duties in your job, disability insurance pays you a tax-free amount until you recover and you're ready to go back to work. And then we have long-term care insurance. Long-term care protects your future self. As we age, the cost of care continues to rise. Long-term care insurance protects your assets by paying you a monthly tax-free benefit for your care. And again, it's about protecting your future self. We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen, but at least you have some input into the care. This is a good time to review these protection pieces as we're seeing rates, starting to, to increase. So if you have any questions with regards to that, certainly feel free to reach out and ask us.
Okay, so that's the protection piece. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about retirement piece. So we started talking about the IRAs. So we kind of went through that a little bit. So what are some other ways that we can look at? One of the things that a lot of companies back in the day, everyone had, depending on retirement, they, looked at Social Security and pension. Well, pensions are pretty much non-existent anymore. But there is a way that you can create your own pension with the sense of an annuity. So now I know that a lot of times there's a lot on the internet, there's a lot on TV, there's all kinds of, a lot of information. So sometimes too much information. So it's like, what do I do? So there are all different kinds. Again, with all these products that we work with, again, knowing that we work with you and what your situation is. So not everything's going to fit the same person, but this is a good, these are just basic concepts for you to maybe that it might fit you right now or may not. But annuity will help provide. So as we get closer to retirement age and we're ready to get into retirement, And annuities will help protect that principal. So if you've worked so hard to gain, either whether it's in an IRA or it's from your 401k, you've worked a lot of years and a lot of hard to get that money. So what we want to do is protect it, because one of the biggest things that people in retirement are afraid of is outliving your money, as Mary just said. What happens if we live too long? I mean, we play these scenarios out. So annuities will help protect that principal so that you won't lose what your initial investment is. And then they have these pieces on there that help give you what we call like a little spigot that turns it on, that will guarantee you income for the rest of your life. So that gives you peace of mind if that's something that is of concern of yours. Now, the next one is overfunding the life insurance. So Mary just talked to you about the protection piece, how it works as a protection piece, and that's fine. There are, like I said, this is another vehicle that there are all different kinds, but there's ways of using life insurance similar to what that Roth IRA was, in a way that you can build up. It is an after-tax dollar, and you build up the tax. You can build up a cash-free amount of money and then be able to disperse that. So we also look at different things as far as, what's good for you today, what's going to be good for you down the road and in retirement. So again, different phases of your life are going to determine which different things that you may need. And if you're a small business like Mary and I, then you can, if you're just starting out or self-employed, IRAs are initially the way to go. You can then look at SEP IRAs, simple IRAs. Those are just, again, getting into a bigger amount that you can contribute, all being tax savings for you off of that income that you're earning. And then there's the 401k, and then cash balance plans are something that if you're really looking, then once you get to a higher income and you're looking to, you've exhausted all your ways of trying to save some money, this is another option possibly that you may want to explore.
The next step is, estate planning. And again, this is a pretty high level talk. But an estate includes all property owned by an individual, less all of his or her liabilities. So anything that someone can own is property. So again, everybody's situation is individual. Depending on how complicated it is, you're going to want to consult an attorney. Having a will in place will give your family instructions on how you want your estate settled. Having a will does not necessarily mean you avoid probate. So these are things that you would certainly want to talk to an attorney about, depending on what your circumstances are. If you have a large estate, you're going to want to contact someone in estate planning to help you, an attorney, to discuss your options, because it becomes very complicated. Land trusts and this sort of thing, and what do you do with the property? And that's the attorney's role, is to help discern where all of your pieces are. And as a side note, life insurance and annuities can be used when planning wealth transfer situations. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have many millions of dollars to do this. It could be a smaller estate. You just want it properly transferred. That's the biggest thing. It has to be properly titled so that it can be transferred in the way that you want it transferred.
So hopefully that we gave you some takeaways that you can actually start now. Again, not too complex, but we don't want to, you have to start from somewhere. And, what a better time than this time right now to really, if you've always said, yeah, I'm going to do that. And this kind of stuff is easily postponable. And that's what Mary and I spend a lot of time helping people kind of figure out where your values are and kind of what's important to you, so that you can prioritize what are things that you want to do. And again, you're different facets, different phases of your life. If you're young and just starting out, or if you have young children, older children, you're in retirement, pre-retirement, these are different things. So at this time, we are here and we have plenty of time to, answer any questions that you have.
This is Patty, and it looks as though a question did come in through chat. There's a question: is it too late to contribute to an IRA for 2019?
No, if you haven't filed your taxes yet, again, I'm not an accountant, so, but if you haven't, because the filing of your taxes got postponed till July. So if you have not filed yet, then you can still make that contribution.
And I'm just going to put a question out there to both Mary and Lisa. Can you talk just a brief moment about what we're hearing of the benefits for delaying payments for your mortgage, or and how they differ possibly from paying a student loan, for putting those on hold for a while? Is that a good idea? Is that something to consider?
As far as I know, for the student loans, they automatically kind of froze you as far as you're not eligible, or you're not having to pay any interest or anything. And if you're eligible to make the payment, I know with the mortgages that I think that it's still going to have some effect on your credit though. So I think that was something that just came out that they didn't really disclaim. It was something that I've heard that that still may, if you're eligible to make the payments, I would not forego paying. You should still make the payment to help with your credit score. Mary, if you have anything else that you to add on that.
Okay.
Sorry, I think I lost the mute button.
Oh.
Sorry about that. So with regards to the student loan payments, I just had a discussion with someone today, and both my kids still have student loans. My suggestion to them was, first of all, review where you are as far as the amount. And if if you have some money saved that you can put towards the loan, when they turn this back on, which is, I believe, in September, you will be paying a lesser amount. So if you have it and you have the ability to do it, it can't hurt.
Okay, well, we did not receive another question. We did receive a very nice comment from one of the attendees that just said, very informative, thank you.
You're very welcome. I hope it was helpful.
Thank you for coming
Yes.
to our Zoom meeting.
Yes.
So everyone, again, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I do want to remind all of our patrons, our online resources are available to resident cardholders. If you have a Schaumburg library card, you have remote access to almost all of our databases remotely. If you need some help and learning how to navigate that, I put my email address in the chat feature. You're welcome to get in touch with me. If I have an answer, that's wonderful. If I don't, I have wonderful colleagues who will have an answer for you. If you have any comments or suggestions for future programs that you would like to be brought into our library community, please do share them with me. If it's something that I can bring to you under the heading of finance, business, and careers, I certainly will. And if not, if it's of a more general interest area, entertainment or historical, or for another audience like teen or children, I can certainly route them to my fine coworkers. We do have some upcoming presentations that are on our calendar. I will be doing programs each Thursday during June. My next one will be a week from tonight. It will be on disability resources from Clearbrook. And then on the 18th, Leading from Change in a Changing World. And on Monday, June 22nd, I will be doing one. When I say I am coordinating. I tap into the expertise as I did tonight. Startup storytelling, how to create a winning pitch deck for your startup business ideas as an entrepreneur. So again, ladies, thank you so very much. We really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. And we know that you are reachable with your contact information for any future questions that tonight's audience might have in a more specific nature.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you,
Thank
Patty.
you,
Thank you
everyone.
for
Always been there for
coming.
the library, and we really do
Yes.
appreciate you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Have a good evening, everyone.
Yes. Stay
So long.
safe.